Thank you, Katia, for having me here. So let me give you an overview of what is digital business and what is important about it. So as Katia said, I'm Eusebio Scornavacca. I'm the Parsons Professor of Digital Innovation. So why is digital business one of the most important areas that you find in a business school? Well, if you think about, let's think about how information technology is playing a role in the modern world. Think what we're doing right now. As you can see, most of the economic activity that happens on the planet has technology behind. When you think about business professionals, you have to be able to evaluate, to understand what technology is capable to do and how technology can help business to do better. So the other thing is very important is that you have to think that the only job security that really exists is a marketable skill. So learning about technology in business will help you, without a doubt, to have this skill that is extremely high in demand in the market. So if you study information systems, the first thing that you do is that you're going to develop the background that you need to be able to assess, to evaluate, and to be able to apply how emerging technologies can actually impact positively into business and society in general. The key element here is that by understanding technology, you develop a competitive advantage and a marketable skill that allows you to understand how can you think in more abstract matters into more systematic matter, but also allows you to experiment and collaborate as information systems is connected with everything that you can imagine. So when we talk about information systems or management information systems, usually we talk about three elements. A lot of times people think that, oh, it's all about computers, it's all about technology. Well, that's computer science. What we do in management information systems in the business school, we are the intersection of three important things. The first one is the technology, which is understanding what technology is capable of doing. And the second one are the processes and the organizations, how business and government and not-for-profits, how they operate, how can you maximize the performance of processes and so forth. But the most important is people. If all the technology and all the process are not helping people, actually it's not achieving its goal. So when we think about MIS, we're thinking about this interaction, how business processes, technology, and people can work together. So if you want a more formal definition of management information systems, we say is the development and use of information systems that help business to achieve their goals and objectives. So at the end of the day, it's a mean to an end. If the system, if the technology is not helping the business, is not helping people, it is actually not doing its job. So when we think about the more, in a more detailed aspects of what is information systems, it is the combination of these five key components. The first one is hardware. So usually I say it's very simple. If you can hammer it, it's hardware. That's your desktop, your laptop, your iPads, phones, networks, and so forth. The second one is your software. So is anything, your apps, your operating systems. Then you have data, which is the bridge between the hard side, the technology side, and the soft side, which is the procedures and the people side. And data, as you know, it's a very important thing in our society. Data is the new oil. Then you have procedures that explain how business will do certain things. And people who can be, the end user, can be the technologists, and can be the people supporting the organization, either the customer or the people working in the organization. So when we think about information systems, we think about those five components working together. So the key element here, once you study information systems, you study digital business, you start to think about, if you want to do something, for example, you want to increase your market share, you want to do a new venture, you start thinking, what kind of software I need, what kind of hardware I need, what kind of data do I need, what kind of process need to be taken in place. Also, it is important to think about how the technology will impact on people. Will actually create jobs, will actually extinguish jobs, will actually require training. Will it affect people's morale, right? How we need to hire new people, we need to reorganize. So it goes beyond simply talking about technology, but looking at the systemic view of the business. If you think about technology is disruptive. Every industrial revolution is based on advances in technology, whether you had mechanization in the first one, and you had mass production by Ford and so forth on the second industrial revolution. You had the third one with computer and automation. And right now, the one that I work a lot on is the cyber physical systems. That's just a combination of digital elements and physical elements like robots and virtual reality and so forth. So that's, as you can see, technology can do a lot of change. Think about how mobile devices, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, new technologies such as blockchain is actually disrupting different things like photography, digital images, the music industry, retail. Think about Amazon right now, the recruitment, financial services, the automotive industry. What happens when we have autonomous cars? How the whole industry that we have will actually be affected by that. So as you can see, technology is changing the world. And it changes the workplace. Think about how we work, how we used to work here, and how we work now. Where and when we have more devices than people in classes, right? Or even now with this coronavirus pandemic, what is happening? We are in different, working together, everybody in their homes and so forth. So the whole idea of how we work has changed dramatically. Think about how user behavior, how young people behave different with technology as people who's been in the market for a long time. Think about how we interact now using those devices 24/7 in all different parts of the world. Think about, the big challenge today is to be data rich and knowledge rich. The problem is that a lot of times there is a lot of data, there is not as people are not able to make a lot of good information out of the data, and they're miserable in terms of knowledge. So a big challenge in today's world is how can you extract value from all this data that is being created around the world? And that's a great opportunity to learn more about technology. Think about cybersecurity and risk, the issues of traceability, privacy, hackers, and so forth. So there is an immense importance right now on the security side, especially for us living here in Maryland, that we have a very healthy industry with high demand in jobs in cybersecurity. And, studying information systems at the end of the day will help you, as a graduate to understand how to use technology to solve problems. You apply technology to integrate and support business and organizational activities such as accounting, finance, marketing, HR, general management. We are, as information system professionals, helping every single aspect of the organization, business run on technology and on information technology. The kinds of jobs you can have can be a business analyst, that is important to understand the business, to think about how can you use technology to help the business, how can you help to develop people skills. You need to understand project management, you need to have very good analytical skills, and all this is part of the degrees that we do will help you develop those skills. And the other thing you can do is to work more on the solution development. This is the idea for innovate, create new things, websites, apps, new businesses. Think about how to create a solution, work on content, write specifications, design digital products or digital content, understanding how can you transform business requirements or business opportunities and use the technology to deliver that. So that's a brief introduction to the world of information systems, which is a fascinating and world which I really enjoy, because at the end of the day, I really like the idea of putting together two things, people and computers together. And they're very different. Computers are very fast and very powerful. People are extremely creative. And once you combine the power of the two together, you have an amazing opportunity. So that's what I have. Thank you so much. All right, Kathia.